Most brands hide their flaws. Domino's did the opposite, and it sparked one of the greatest turnarounds in fast food history. This is the story of how a CEO went on national television and admitted publicly that his own product was garbage.
I hear what some folks are saying about our stuff.
Pizza, where's the love? How hard? Bread, sauce, cheese, fresh ingredients. Doesn't feel like there's much love in Domino's Pizza.
Not metaphorically, not subtly. He literally said, "Our pizza tasted like cardboard." And instead of destroying the company, this confession became the fuel behind one of the most successful brand transformations ever recorded. Today, we're breaking down the Domino's confession strategy, how it worked, why it worked, and the deeper psychological triggers behind this billion-dollar comeback. In the late 2000s, Domino's wasn't just struggling, it had become a joke. Customer reviews were brutal. Focus groups described the pizza as cardboard crust, ketchup sauce, worst pizza I've ever tasted. Zero flavor, no quality. These weren't outliers. They were patterns, repeated thousands of times.
Bad. Worst excuse for pizza I've ever had.
The sauce tastes like ketchup.
Totally void of flavor.
You know what? When you first hear it, it's shocking.
The cardboard complaint is the most common one.
This we hear over and over and over.
Times, sales were slowing. Market share was shrinking. And to make matters worse, a 2009 scandal went viral.
Here's Michael. Achoo! Cutting somebody's cheese stick. That big boogie.
Two Domino's employees uploaded a disgusting prank video contaminating food. It spread across the internet, severely damaging public trust. Domino's leadership realized something painful. This wasn't just a PR problem. This was a product death spiral. You can't market your way out of a product people actively avoid. Inside Domino's headquarters, the executive team faced a crossroads. Pretend everything was fine, or confront the brutal truth. What they chose next is almost unthinkable in corporate culture. They decided to publicly admit the pizza was bad, on national television, in their own commercials. This wasn't a safe strategy. This wasn't standard crisis management. This was the corporate equivalent of confessing your deepest flaw in front of the world. Domino's launched what would become legendary, the Pizza Turnaround campaign. They filmed real customer complaints, not staged, not softened, the real harsh truth. Employees read these reviews out loud, some shocked, some embarrassed, some visibly hurt. And then the CEO himself, Patrick Doyle, looked into the camera and admitted, "We heard the complaints. Our pizza tasted like cardboard. We honestly failed." A CEO saying this publicly? Unheard of, risky, potentially brand-ending. But here's the twist. Instead of collapsing, this confession became the catalyst for something no one expected. Domino's didn't just apologize. They rebuilt the pizza from the ground up. They changed the dough, the sauce, the cheese, the spice blend, the texture, the cooking method. Everything that customers hated, they reinvented. This wasn't a marketing campaign. This was a product resurrection. They treated their failings as a blueprint for innovation. If they hate the crust, change it. If they hate the sauce, fix it. If the cheese tastes cheap, upgrade it. No excuses, no defensive positioning, just execution. And then, the payoff. When Domino's relaunched their pizza, the response was explosive. Same-store sales jumped 16.5% in a single quarter, the largest rise ever recorded by a major fast food chain at that time. Customers came back, review scores improved, trust was restored, and the stock? The stock skyrocketed from around $9 in 2008 to over $85 by 2014, and later surpassing $350. What began as a confession became one of the most successful brand turnarounds in modern history. So why did admitting failure work? Here are the strategic and psychological pillars behind the Domino's confession strategy. 1. Radical honesty creates trust. When a brand admits the truth that customers already know, credibility skyrockets. 2. Vulnerability humanizes a corporation. Domino's stopped acting like a faceless chain and started acting like people. 3. They paired honesty with action. The apology wasn't the solution, the new product was. 4. They turned criticism into content. Customers saw themselves reflected in the campaign, and they felt heard. 5. They controlled the narrative. By admitting the flaw first, they stole the power of critics and reframed the conversation. Here's what entrepreneurs can learn. Lesson 1. You can't hide a bad product with good marketing. Lesson 2. Criticism is data, not an attack. Lesson 3. Honesty can be a competitive advantage when backed by execution. Lesson 4. Sometimes the only way forward is through the truth. Domino's didn't win by pretending they were perfect. They won by rebuilding their flaws publicly and proving they could change. So here's the question for you. What flaw in your business are you avoiding that could become your greatest comeback story?